From 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. All right, so we had the long night where it was cold outside. We had some snow flurries across northwest Arkansas, some across the river valley, but the main accumulation was across northwest Arkansas. The good news is that while roads are a bit slick this morning for that morning commute, I think RDOT did a really great job of not only the pre-brine on the roadways beforehand, but also the treatment there afterwards across the roads, where, at least for me driving in this morning and then keeping an eye on all the RDOT cameras and the cameras that we have, it looked like traffic was moving overall pretty smoothly this morning. And the good news is when we got in this morning and took a look at things, sure, we had a few blasts and some flurries here and there, but we knew that road conditions weren't going to worsen from when we got past midnight into the morning commute this morning. And so far, not seeing much in the way of any unusual slowdowns or accidents across northwest Arkansas and the river valley. So let's take a look at where we are at now, kind of recap what the system was for us and where we are going later on this week. So when we take a look at the snow totals, mainly what you're seeing there is around a dusting up to around an inch of snowfall. Most of this is below what is going to be considered major accumulation. I think everybody, for the most part, stayed around an inch or below, and most of it was across northwest Arkansas. Now, into the Boston Mountains, we got several reports of some higher totals, and we'll see what the National Weather Service and those official numbers end up being, but that's pretty common with these winter systems, and you know that is during the high elevation, places of higher elevation, we can sometimes see some heavier bands move in there as well, leading to some higher accumulation totals. Of course, though, most of the accumulation was in northwest Arkansas, and especially where those roadways were across I-49 into 412, Benton, Carroll, Washington, Madison County, of course, saw the highest accumulation. That's what we were expecting going into this system. Places across the river valley saw some flurries, but waking up this morning, more than likely, you didn't see much on the side of the road. When it comes to any of those leftover snowflakes, it was just very cold this morning. So generally, north of I-40 is where we saw around a dusting up to an inch of snowfall. Now that we're all said and done and actually seeing the sunshine break out throughout the rest of the day today, I want to take a look at road conditions. Some really good news across northwest Arkansas, where we started off this morning with some snow-covered roads still, with some roads covered in slush. More than likely what that was is maybe some crews working over an area, but didn't get all of it, and then some refreeze happened on the roads. That was what was across 49, and then we had in and around Rogers, and especially those side roads of Rogers, we're really starting to see maybe we had some freezing precipitation, like some sleet or some freezing rain last night into the overnight hours that could have led to some roads being a little bit more deteriorated than some. Here's the updated list of where we're at the rest of the day. And today, again, road conditions are only going to get better as we go on throughout the rest of the day. RDOT reporting mostly everybody seeing some really good road conditions out there right now. Let's take a closer look across Benton County. You don't see any of the pink or dark pink colors anymore. That's what would result in the ice patch or the slush outside. That's some good news. We kind of bounced around cameras here. We'll start near Lowell. This is at Monroe Avenue. You still see the snow on the sides of the roads there, but even in the median, most of it's already melted off, and definitely on the roadways, none of that patchy ice, none of the snow even left over, and we're still below freezing. So that is all thanks to the crews with RDOT getting those roads cleared up before that morning commute. Now that we're sitting well after that morning commute now, roads are moving really smoothly across northwest Arkansas. Let's take a closer look. Let's bump up to Rogers, where some of that heaviest snow was at. This is a look across Walton Boulevard, and I would say this is where the traffic was slowest this morning, but now take a look at it past that morning rush hour, going into close to the afternoon now. All the roadways are clear. There's no ice on the roads. If there is any, it's very minimal, and all that snow is pushed off towards the side now. What also helped with that is some strong winds across the area as well. Traffic seems to be moving smoothly across northwest Arkansas with little to no hitches. Now, where we are still seeing RDOT reporting some issues is in Franklin County. This is going to be on Highway 23 there through Cass near Watalula, White Oak. That blue line that you see there is what the category of snow covered is still. More than likely why this is being reported is because there may be some lower traffic through this area in the morning hours, and maybe RDOT just hasn't cleared it as much as they wanted to. Well, how we get these reports is that RDOT trucks, as they're running through these areas, will self-report what the roads are looking like. So at this hour, before the noon hour here, we're just seeing maybe some snow-covered roads, portions of Franklin County as we head into the afternoon. More than likely, this is going to be cleared up really fast. If RDOT's still reporting it, their crews obviously know that there's still some work left to do in northern Franklin County. Let's take a look across the River Valley into Sebastian County. Let's go right by Fort Smith, Old Greenwood Road, and you don't see anything there. We had some flurries flying across the area, but for the most part, little to no snow accumulation across the River Valley, traffic moving smoothly. I'm sure some RDOT crews were working across the area, especially for those bridges and overpasses, but the River Valley was never a main concern of any major snow accumulation. Actually, most models show that we wouldn't get any, and looking at this screen here now, you can see near Fort Smith didn't get any accumulation, just like we was hoping was going to happen. And now we're just seeing the cold air left behind. That's going to be the problem with the snow that may be on some rooftops, some snow that may be on the sides of the roads, some snow that maybe is just on some property that isn't getting cleaned up quick enough, is that it's so cold outside right now that more than likely, unless the sun hits it at the right angle, we more than likely won't see a lot of melting going on throughout the day. So the good news is, no matter where you are, really, Northwest Arkansas, River Valley, Eastern Oklahoma, for the most part, we're seeing some really good road conditions. Some ports still getting cleaned up as we get into the afternoon hours. And of course, the great crews with RDOT are going to continue to be working on that to make sure that everybody's clear. Because again, we're not going to see a lot of melt, so we need those crews to work those roads over and over to make sure by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning, we definitely don't have any issues across the area. So now that we're talking about good road conditions across the area, let's look at what the rest of the night holds for us. This is Monday, and what would Tuesday morning look like as well? This is at 8 p.m. tonight. Wind chill values today for our highs are only supposed to get around 15 to 20 degrees across Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That's what it's going to feel like. Here's a look at what it feels like this evening. Already temperatures dropping back down with those wind chill values. Strong northwest winds still coming down around 10 to 15 mile an hour wind gusts. But let's play this out and we show you for Tuesday morning, waking up warmer than what we did this morning, but it's still bitterly cold. This is still falling underneath the category of dangerously cold outside. Bentonville tomorrow morning, waking up at 8 degrees of a feels-like temperature with a wind chill value, 7 in Rogers, 15 in Fayetteville, 15 in Huntsville, 14 in Van Buren, 13 in Fort Smith, 11 in Sallisaw, 20 in Ozark, 21 in Clarksville, 21 in Paris, 17 in Waldron, and 19 in Podo. So Northwest Arkansas, single digits up to the low teens. River Valley, teens up to the low 20s is what we're expecting for our Tuesday morning. Good news is that while it's going to be bitterly cold outside, most of the roads should be fine for your Tuesday morning commute. And the good news is even more of that luck that we got with this system is that most of the school districts for today, if anything, the teachers had personal development days today where no students were actually showing up to school. We did have a few school cancellations for today because the roads weren't up to date of where they needed to be for travel for those kiddos this morning. Mostly, a lot of the kids across the area are going back to school for Tuesday after their winter break. We should be fine tomorrow morning. Parents watching this at home, you're thinking about those kiddos at the bus stop for tomorrow morning, or maybe you've got 16-year-olds driving to school tomorrow morning. Think about what we're wearing, especially in the morning hours, because this is still considered dangerously cold. Wind chill values, you still need to cover up that skin. You still need to wear hats, gloves, coats, everything you usually need to know with a winter system like this. Similar temperatures for Wednesday morning as well, starting off anywhere between the single digits up to the teens, maybe some low 20s across the River Valley. Let's show you what the rest of the week looks like morning temperature-wise. Again, Wednesday, still feeling that Arctic air. Thursday morning, still feeling that Arctic air. Wind chill values, again, anywhere between the range around 10 to 20 degrees in the morning hours. This is for Northwest Arkansas. Then we start to get some warmer air back into the area late into the week, but it's still well below freezing. I don't think we climb above the freezing point in the morning hours for a long time. Of course, that comes with the season that we're in. More than likely, not going to be seeing those temperatures on the plus side anytime soon. We look across the river valley, morning temperatures into the upper teens, low 20s. These are actual temperatures over the next several days. Of course, those wind chill values going to be a little bit cooler, but it stays very chilly, very cold until Thursday morning. By the time we get to the afternoon hours, maybe seeing some warmer air come in, and definitely by Friday morning, seeing some of that warmer air as well. But remember this, we're still below that freezing point, 32. And now we're seeing at least the warmest in the river valley at the end of the week is going to be 28. And that is going to lead to some problems. Not only because it's going to be very cold outside still, but our next round of some winter precipitation is coming for the end of the week. Let's talk about what we're expecting right now. Our next big system is expected to come in Thursday night going into Friday. And we're going to have an article on 5newsonline.com later on this evening, definitely by Tuesday morning, of what is going to be expected later on this week. I'll tell you what, for the snow lovers out there, this is going to be the system that you've been crossing your fingers for. There's no definition of what the exact snow totals are going to be, but all signs are positive for the snow lovers. For the folks who want no snow, unfortunately, we've got a pretty large system on the way towards the end of the week. So let's break down what we know right now. Thursday night into Friday looks to be the main timeline of when that next system is going to be coming in, and snow chances look very favorable, not only for northwest Arkansas and the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma, but across most of the state of Arkansas and into central and eastern Oklahoma as well. Is expected to see a large system come ahead, and we're going to be above that freezing line. Good news and bad news there. Good news is that the freezing rain and sleet looks to be further off towards the south. Bad news is lots of snowfall could be a potential later on this week. So if the kiddos didn't go back to school on Tuesday, we could be talking about more snow days by the time we get to Friday as well. Hopefully, by the time we get past the weekend into next week, we're talking about most of that cleared up. Let's show you one model here right now. This is showing you Friday after Thursday afternoon at 2:30. Already starting to see maybe some snow coming up across eastern Oklahoma, parts of the river valley. The system could start off with some freezing precipitation as well in the way of some sleet or some freezing rain. Again, we are looking at long-range data right now. Once we get closer, definitely by Wednesday, we'll have a good idea on accumulation and what type of precipitation we're going to see. This is just giving us an outline of what could possibly be coming later on this week. We let this play out, and this goes out until Friday at 1 a.m., and now we're starting to see some heavier snow across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. This is going to be one of those rare occasions, folks in the River Valley, where we're expecting a higher total of accumulation south of I-40 rather than north of I-40. Usually northwest Arkansas gets all the fun with all the heavy snow. This time, maybe a little bit different later on this week, again targeting Thursday into Friday. We'll let that play out till Friday morning, and this is where some school cancellations could be mixing in. If this model holds, we're still looking at some heavy snowfall across the area, even through that Friday morning rush and into the midday on Friday. It's not until the evening hours that we finally start to see that system clear. It's too early to tell what the accumulation is going to be, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like it's going to be on the lower end of things, is the best I can say right now. It looks like we could see some moderate accumulation later on this week. Let's take a look at another model. Again, that system clears out by the time we get to Friday afternoon. This is a different model showing you Thursday evening at 6 p.m. We already have those snowflakes across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Look at that pink line that stretches from Dallas all the way to the Arkansas-Mississippi state line. That's that freezing line. We're going to be north of that. So that's where all the snowfall is going to be. The heavier snowfall looks to be remaining just above that freezing line. But once we get into Friday morning, this is at 4:30 in the morning, more than likely, most of northwest Arkansas, most of the River Valley, seeing some of those heavier snow bands moving through. And that continues throughout most of the day on Friday before clearing out Friday evening, going into Saturday morning. It's still too early to tell what accumulation is going to look like, but just know Thursday night into Friday looks like our best chance so far this season for some significant snowfall. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of this week, chilly mornings really through Thursday morning, and then Thursday into Friday, as soon as we climb above freezing, that's when we're going to be seeing the next larger snow chance, mainly coming during the overnight hours and into most of the day on Friday. Some sunshine breaks out over the weekend, and with temperatures above freezing, maybe we could be talking about some quick melting. But it probably won't be that quick because temperatures are still into the upper 30s, and wind chill values, of course, will be much cooler than that. main headline for you to remember over the next several days is bundle up in the morning hours as we're still dealing with this Arctic air, and then start thinking about how we're going to navigate through some snowy conditions later on into the week, Thursday night into Friday. Across the river valley, chilly, bitter mornings, at least through Thursday morning. And then once we get into the afternoon and evening hours, that's when we'll be talking about that next system coming up. And this is a very south tracking system, central Texas into southern Oklahoma and reaching into western Arkansas. That is a low-dipping, low-pressure system that's going to have the availability of some moisture to be pulled into it, and overall, more than likely, bring some snow chances to eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas later on this week, specifically targeting as Thursday evening into Friday as the best chance for that. By the time we get to the weekend, some sunshine breaks out, but it's still going to be chilly outside. Hopefully we can talk about some melting later on this week. But this is the next system that we're going to be focusing on. We got past whatever the system was we had mainly across northwest Arkansas yesterday into this morning, where we had some of that dusting of a snow that led to some patchy ice, and also the fact that it's just going to be downright cold over the next several mornings and even into the afternoon. Temperatures don't get above freezing until we get to Thursday afternoon. Of course, as soon as they climb above the freezing point, that's when that next big system is going to be coming along. Stick with us over the next several days. We're going to have more updates on what that next snow system is going to look like towards the end of the week. Again, we'll have an article on 5newsonline.com, and we'll also be providing updates not only on our newscasts, but also on YouTube with our extended forecasts and 5 Plus as well. Download that 5 Plus app for me, all smart TVs. That's going to give you not only the forecasts that we have for the show, but it's also going to give an in-depth look of some deep diving into the data from our extended forecasts there as well. And you can go back and rewatch any of those extended forecasts leading up to the event and the day of to go ahead and give us a check as well. So stick with us over the next couple days. It's going to be very chilly, very cold, very dangerously cold temperatures in the morning hours. Bundle up outside, cover up that skin, still protect those pipes in the home. Not a bad idea to keep on letting the faucet drip over the next few days as well, especially during the overnight hours. And then we'll watch out for that snow system late into the week, Thursday into Friday. From 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. That's your 5 Plus. Look at what the rest of the week is going to be looking like.